The following program is produced and funded by the Alvin Jones Communications Group.
This is Women's Business Report, aka WBR-TV. I'm Valerie Young. Women's Business Report first aired March of 2015 during Women's History Month. That first show featured Ethel Taylor, owner of Doggie Washerette LLC, and her faithful companion, Joy the Poodle. Being an entrepreneur means having any and everything thrown in your path. A lot has happened since that first airing. Ethel is back on Women's Business Report WBR-TV to give a testimony of her trials and tribulations. Her story is an inspiration for anyone, man or woman, who has to endure unforeseen challenges. She walks us through the situations that have tested her faith and given her additional strength.
Hello, Women's Business Report. My name is Ethel Taylor, and I'm the owner of Doggie Washerette LLC. I was on the first Women's Business Report in 2015, and here it is, 2022. I'm back for an encore. I'd like to preface my story today by sharing my faith. My faith is included in my story, and it's not intentional to push it on you or whatever, but I just want to share how things happen for me and how they happen to me. In 2015, when we shot the show, I was doing very well. I had 6 employees, and we were offering full service grooming as well as self-service grooming.
Everything was going well for Ethel and Doggie Washerette right after her first appearance in 2015. But then, things changed.
Not long after that, a big box pet supply store started offering self-serve dog washing, and also moved within walking distance of my shop. Well, needless to say, my business took a pull because they were offering half the price as well as longer opening hours, and also had a small retail supply for people to purchase. So eventually I made a decision to stop offering self-service dog grooming. We started to focus specifically on the full service, which was going very, very well.
Ethel adjusted to the big box store coming in and taking over her territory. Then she received tragic news.
In October 2015, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and our business once again took another transition. As he began chemotherapy and all of his treatments, things were really shaky, and I was really concerned about the future with having so many people's livelihoods in my hand. In 2017 of March, I decided to close the business, which was a storefront on Georgia Avenue, and go home to care for my husband during this time. I decided to convert my 2-car garage into the new Doggie Washerette and be able to take care of him, make sure he was okay upstairs, and then also work and continue with my business in the 2-car garage. I went before the Zoning Commission for DC, and by God's grace was granted a 5-year permit to operate in my 2-car garage. Well, I came home, of course, with the wonderful news to my husband, and who was at that time doing very, very well. But at the news, it seems, he was just waiting for the okay from the Zoning Commission. And literally 2 weeks later, he took a dive for the worse, and he passed.
After dealing with the death of her beloved husband, Ethel found that other challenges would come her way.
Well, at that point, definitely devastated, I had to make another decision, what to do about the business. So now my business was no more, my husband's income coming in was no more, and I had to transition once again. So I decided to take the money that I did have and to go ahead and convert the 2-car garage and just make a go of it. So I did that, got the garage converted, and rehired one of the former employees, and she and I, for the next year and a half, worked the Doggie Washerette from the garage.
With taxes and other expenses on a one-person income, Ethel had to make a change.
Another transition happened after that. With the house being very large, a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house, and the DC taxes being almost $900 a month I had to save to have them to pay at the end of the year, things got really tight really quickly. And I once again had to transition by making a decision to sell the house and then close the business once again. I can only share in words, and not express deep enough how devastating this was, most of all to my customers, and how I was so committed to them, how grateful I was that they came back even after the first time leaving the commercial space on Georgia Avenue, and now here again having to tell them that I was going to be out of business again. Well, I decided at that point, which was 2019, to go ahead and just take a break, a real break, and move into an apartment to just kind of regroup and figure out what would be my next move. In 2020, early 2020, after the lease was over at the apartment, I decided to make one more stab, if you will. In 2018, I received an invitation from a local pet store to do a nail workshop for dogs. And some of their customers wanted to learn how to do dog nails. So I did the nail workshop. And after the workshop, the customer said, "We didn't know it was this hard, so can you just do them for us?" And so I did, of course. About 2 months later, they called me back to do another workshop. And since the end of the workshop panned out the way it did, I said to them, "Why don't you just line up your customers who want dogs' nails filed, and I will bring my things and do dog nails for you every first Saturday all day. Just block them in 15-minute blocks, and I'll show up and do nails." And so that's what I did. I did that until I moved into my new home in 2020. When I moved into this home in Upper Marlboro, I was definitely looking to start once more, which would at this point be my third time around reopening the Doggie Washerette. I was this time in a 1-car garage, and I had committed, I'll just make a run for it alone until I figured it all out and had everything reestablished. Mind you, every month, on the first Saturday up until this happened, I was still doing the nails at this pet store once a month. When I moved into the new home, I immediately built out the 1-car garage to prepare for the business.
Moving to Maryland provided its own challenges.
And I have to admit, I did not do my due diligence to research Prince George's County at-home dog grooming laws and ordinances and things like that. So once I pursued a grooming permit for the space, I found out very quickly that grooming was under boarding in their ordinances, and the requirements to get a permit was very, very expensive. I can't even tell you, beginning with $15,000. You had to secure a lawyer, which that will be the retainer, and it would be at least a year before you would get through the process. And after all of that, you still may not be granted the permit. And so, of course, I was devastated because here it is, COVID. Now I have an opportunity to make money from home like everybody else is doing right now, and I cannot get a permit. So this went on with me calling the zoning office, making sure I really heard correctly what I was being fed from the surveyor, from the lawyer, from the other offices in Prince George's County, and she confirmed everything was legitimate, and that's the way things had been. Needless to say, I knew several other people who were operating from their homes in Prince George's County, but had no idea that things were not legitimate. Anyway, during COVID, people have to do what they have to do. Other than that, that's just not how I operate. So I had to really look into what I was going to do next.
Ethel's faith and courage helped to keep her on her path.
So after a year and a half actually passed, I was up one Sunday morning saying a prayer, and I was saying to God, really, I'm working one day a month doing nails, and I want to pay my mortgage, and I want to pay Prince George's taxes, and I have this opportunity here that I cannot use, and there's got to be a way around it. There's got to be another way. And so I wrote a letter once again to the zoning representative that I have been in touch with, and I just poured out my heart. And I said, we have to figure this out, with COVID and people being creative and trying to, make a living in the midst of all that's going on. We got to figure this out. So this particular time, she said, I'm going to transfer you to my supervisor. Well, a couple days later, her supervisor called me back and said, Ms. Taylor, I've done some research, and I found out there was a bill passed in 2018 by the Prince George's County Council that will now allow grooming at home. However, the bill has not been implemented yet, and I have no idea when it will be implemented. I suggest you call your council member, your county council member, and she gave me his name, and she gave me his phone number, his information. And
then things started to take a turn in Ethel's favor.
I called and left a message, and a few days later, his chief of staff reached out to me, and she said, Ms. Taylor, we're gonna set up a Zoom meeting with you in about 2 weeks. So we'll be back in touch with you with the information and the time and everything. And so I was saying to myself, why are they making me wait 2 weeks? Why don't they just tell me no now? And all the other things everybody's been telling me, what is this about? And so I just patiently waited and got the email to log in on Zoom that evening. And I logged in the same place where I am now, sitting here in the shop. Had my dog Joy there. And I have, of course, I sent them all of my correspondence, pictures, and just pictures and a briefing of my journey from even Georgia Avenue. And so I got on the Zoom call that evening with the council member, his chief of staff, and the county council, who was their lawyer who represents the council, who they can consult with when they have issues. So he was on the line, and he said to the council, how can we help Ms. Taylor? I really feel compelled that we got to do something for her.
Ethel gets a bill in her name.
The council said, we can write Ms. Taylor her own bill. The bill's already been passed, so we're just going to write her a bill that she can start grooming in home now, even before the bill is implemented. And when the bill is implemented, whenever that is, because they still didn't have a date, then she'll fall under the bill that's been implemented. Well, needless to say, this is a miracle. Only God can put favor for you in the hearts of men and women. People don't have to do things for you, and it's God who touches their heart. So I knew that this was a prayer answered. I knew that this was a miracle, and I was just grateful, because who gets their own bill? So a CB 0692021, you'll see dog groomer in-home business in Prince George's County granted for Ethel Taylor in my residence. So December 23rd, 2021, the Doggie Washerette was officially opened in Prince George's County, Maryland. To God be all the glory for that. Once again, perseverance, continuing to keep the faith that I know I didn't invest all of this money into this location, into this this one-car garage that is cute and efficient to serve me and to bring in a living for me to take care of myself and my dog and my family. And so I, of course, was ecstatic. Well, not only did that happen, the nail care business at the pet store was booming. At that point, I was doing about 32 to 40 dog nails that first Saturday of the month, every month, out of their storage room. Well, when the situation came with not being able to get permitted here at the garage, I said to myself, maybe this nail thing is going to have to be my plan B. Well, also around the same time, my accountant called me and he said, Miss Taylor, the SBA is giving out a loan, and I'm thinking you may qualify to get some of the money. The conditions are very good. The interest rate and the payback is something I think, according to your numbers, you should be able to afford when they come due. And I said, I have absolutely nothing to lose. And at this point, I didn't have a permit for the shop, so this could be my plan B. And so I put in the application. The application came back, and by golly, it was enough to purchase a 2019 ProMaster high roof, because I'm almost 6 feet tall enough to stand up in it, convert van and have it converted.
With her new van, Doggie Washerette now is mobile.
Now I've got the shop that I can groom out of, and now I have a nail van that I can work out of as well. So I end up birthing two businesses at the same time, or in rebirthing the grooming business and birthing a whole new business with the nail care van. So when I went to get the van permitted, they were saying to me at the offices, well, we've never seen anything like this, and we never heard of this, and we don't really even know how to permit you. So I was saying to myself, well, God gave me this vision. It's on the road now. It's up and moving, ready to go. So you guys are gonna have to figure it out. But anyway, what they ended up doing is giving me the same permit that they give the full grooming dog care vans, grooming vans. And there I was now permitted in Montgomery County, in Washington, D.C., as well as in Prince George's, Maryland. So I'm just sharing of how things transitioned, now having a full groom in-home compared to where I began with a full self-service groom in a commercial space, eventually a full groom in a private space, double car garage, now in a single car garage, starting the nail care in the storage room of a pet store, now having an all new nail care van. I'm just trying to share with you how things have transitioned through the years, how the business has had to transition, and in hindsight, seeing that the self-serve was just the initiation of me getting into this industry. So I want to say that where you begin is not always going to be where you end, but it's okay. God just used that to get your feet in, if you will, and how he transitions through those times, through those years, through those situations, through the changes that happened personally in my life with the loss of my husband, with the large big box coming in and taking, a certain a service, over from me, and all the things that have had to happen to get me to this place where I am today. And so I just wanted to come back for an encore presentation at the Women's Business Report and share my journey of faith, of transition, of having to be flexible, having to continue to be creative and to figure it out, to persevere, through all that happens, through all, and then we know COVID really blew a whole nother wind of transition and change to our norm, or what we consider to be our norm, to have to adapt in a whole lot of ways, just as a country, even in the world, because it was a worldwide pandemic, and so I just want to bring that to the Women's Business Report audience and share my journey and encourage you that, your business may be coming to a place where you feel like things aren't where, you thought they would go and how you thought they would be initially when you started your journey, but to let you know that transition is good and is okay. And as long as you continue to make it work and make it happen, it may be different. It's not bad, it's just different. It's not a failure, it's just different. It's not to stop right here. It's just to reinvent yourself, to add on, to take away. To do whatever is needed to keep things going. And so I just wanted to come back for this Encore presentation to share my journey and to tell you to keep pressing on, to keep the faith, and to keep being creative, to keep persevering, and to keep on doing what you've been called to do, to be a blessing to the community, to your neighbors, to whomever you're serving with the gifts that God has placed in you. Thank you so much. And I want to thank once again Mr. Alvin Jones and the Women's Business Report for having me back for this Encore presentation. Once again, my name is Ethel Taylor, owner of the Doggie Washerette LLC, now located in Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
From the beginning, we at Women's Business Report, WBR-TV, have really been inspired by businesswomen like Ethel Taylor of Doggie Washerette LLC, who epitomize the strength and courage it takes to be a woman in business.
For those who are new and considering opening your own business, I just have something I've learned through the years that should be considered. When I started my business, I had my husband, who was the income breadwinner for our family, and he was able to hold down the fort, so to speak. He was able to pay the bills, keep the roof over our heads, and make sure we had everything we needed while I ventured out to pursue my dream. What I've learned through the process, which is what this show is all about, why I wanted to come back for this Encore presentation, is to share some of the things that I learned over these years. And what I would suggest, especially to a new person who's considering business, even before you consider business, to make sure you're in a posture where someone is supporting you, whether you are on your own and you move in with somebody who can keep a roof over your head while you pursue your dream, or whether you are in a relationship and your partner is going to continue to work, so to speak, a 9-to-5 to make sure that your basic needs are being met. And if you're a single, I recommend that you do your vision as a side hustle until you make enough money to replace your 9-to-5 with that income. A lot of people think because you have a vision and you want to be your own boss, or so to speak, that is something you can just jump into. And a lot of people throw the word faith around, and definitely faith is important and a part of the journey. However, faith isn't haphazardly or naively jumping out into a situation as a business owner without having done your due diligence. That's not what faith is, and a lot of people get confused about that. Faith is doing what you can do, doing your research, doing your background checks, and all the things that you need to do as far as informing yourself. And then the faith comes in with trusting the results to be what you consider God having promised you with this journey. And so a lot of times people confuse the two, and they jump out into things that they weren't ready for or prepared for, calling it faith. And as a woman of faith, I'm sharing this out of wisdom and out of trying to help others not to fall into certain pitfalls that happen to be kind of trending out here. I talk to several people all the time who say, "Oh, you got your own business," and and things like that. Like it's grand, but really, when you want to call in, who do you call in to? I mean, what do you? It really is a lot of responsibility, is what I'm saying, and to not have thought things through. can be discouraging once you've come to a pitfall. So I'm just trying to share some of those things with you to help you not to run into certain walls that are potentially you could run into as a new business owner, or as you research and pursue your own dreams as an entrepreneur.
Ethel and Joy the Poodle, therapy dog, were recently in this year's Montgomery County Thanksgiving Parade. Needless to say, they were a hit.
We're here at the, oh, you want to say hi? Okay, so you want to take a picture? That's okay. Stay. Stay. She's looking for a treat. You're welcome. We're here at the Montgomery County Thanksgiving Parade here with Joy the Poodle Therapy Dog and the Doggie Washerette Nail Care Van. We've been here for several years since Joy became a therapy dog, and it's always a lot of fun here at this parade. There you go.
Her two front legs. I don't know if maybe you can get it. It's like a leaf stuck in the fur.
Oh yeah, because she was up, thank you, because she was up in the grass. Thank you. Pull it out.
It's gotta be like safe.
It's dog dye. Why would I put unsafe dog dye on my dog? She's a standard poodle, yes.
Let's get behind us. Stand up next to her. Stand up together. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Here you go. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving from Joy the Poodle. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Wait. Happy Thanksgiving from Joy the Poodle.
We thank Ethel for agreeing to honor us with an encore on Women's Business Report, WBR-TV. If you are a woman in business or know a woman we should feature, please email us at producer@womensbusinessreport.com.
I think I see a poodle unicorn. Okay?
Poodle. And it's not just any poodle, Eileen. This is a purple, pink, purple, blue.
Joy the poodle therapy dog. Oh my gosh. So wonderful. So Joy the Poodle Therapy Dog continues to spread her joy through the holiday season at areas, senior centers, schools, and wherever she goes. Oh, you are bringing us so much joy. The Doggie Washerette Nail Care Van is the only mobile van in the area to focus exclusively on doggy nail care. Ethel Taylor and Joy the Poodle wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and prosperous New Year. This is a reminder, I actually need to get my dog's nails trimmed before the holidays, so I now know who to talk to.
And that's it for Women's Business Report. Thank you all for watching. We're hoping you have a great holiday season. I'm Valerie Young. See you next time.